What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Riding Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. This is obviously not my Lowrider S. This is my 2014 Sportster, Harley Davidson Sportster XL883 Super Low. For those of you who don't know, this is my somewhat recent new bike, and we're gonna have a lot of install videos to follow. There's a lot. It's clapped out. It's clapped out. So there's a lot of stuff we're doing that's gonna get it unclapped. And today is one of those videos. We're gonna take off the really terrible, in my opinion, looking what appears to be a 2-into-1-into-2. It appears to have a crossover pipe, but that pipe might not be hollow. That might just be some sort of brace. It doesn't look like any name brand that I have ever recognized. So between me using my experience to identify a brand and just my current knowledge of what was done on this bike prior, I spent about 12 hours doing some different wiring things with it yesterday that I will update you guys on a video, but all that wrapped together leads me to believe that this exhaust is just a pile of garbage and not any kind of reputable name brand, and I would estimate it's worth about $200, if that. So let's roll the intro. We'll get back with the exhaust. I'll unbox it, show you guys what it is, and let's get this started.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a YouTube channel, it's the Riding Down a
All right, so this is the actual exhaust muffler portion. It's the canister. It is a Vance and Hines Upswept in the stainless, obviously. I have always really liked the way this exhaust setup looks. I never had a bike that, in my opinion, would fit good. And for those of you who don't know what we're doing with the Sportster, we're doing like a kind of like a 50-50 between a tracker and a cafe racer. It's going to be more like almost like a dual sport cafe kind of thing. So we did a few things in preparation for it yesterday, and this is going to be one of the huge things. So before we get to the end and I forget, you will not see me here or talk about really doing a tune associated with this right now. A couple reasons. One, it's not a bike that I ride every day. I'm just doing a bunch of stuff to this bike first. Two, I guess I'll just go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, as it were. I am debating on doing the 12, this is an 83, so I'm debating on doing the 1200 Hooligan kit from S&S, which for those of you who don't know, it's just a 1200 big bore kit equipped with cams, because the Evos have 4 cams. And it's just a all-inclusive, you know, kind of upgraded horsepower and torque package. So I'm debating on doing that. What I wanted to do was put this exhaust on, do some stuff with controls and ergonomics on it first, and then ride it for at least a few days, several hours, to see if I really want to do that 1200 kit or not. I already have a ton of power in my Lowrider S, and this is, like I said, kind of, you know, a different kind of build. So I might not want to do it. I might maybe just want to go with cams or something like that. So for that reason, I am not tuning anything, because for this bike, I think I'm going to go ahead and just pay for the license and have someone do, you know, one-time single professional tune. So I'm also thinking about some other options, but right now that's the one that makes the most sense. Either way, here we go. So this is the canister portion. You got your header pipes. It came with 2 brackets and a bag, one big bracket and one very small bracket, and a bag, put this down before I drop this, bag full of hardware. What I did not see it come with was instructions at all. So should be an interesting install. I have never installed an exhaust or really done any work on Sportsters. Nobody ever helped work with anything or anything like that on had a Sportster, and I've never had a Sportster. So this should be interesting as far as what typically goes where and stuff like that. I feel like I could probably do an exhaust install blindfolded on the Lowrider S, because I've done, like, I think 5, I'm up to 4 or 5 exhaust changes on that now. So yeah, I do know, however, for sure, the first thing we need to do is get the old exhaust off. So we're going to uninstall the header bolts, which I did. Side note, no, they're not. They're out of camera view. This specific, I tell you what, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, so something that I did go ahead and purchase. Well, first of all, I will say that unless I'm just blind and I missed it, this Vance and Hines kit, it's my understanding that none of them do, did not come with new gaskets, exhaust gaskets. I went ahead and bought the Vance and Hines gaskets the direct Vance and Hines brand or whatever. They do happen to be flat washers, so I'm not sure if they recommend that or not. I think I got some tapered gaskets either way. So if at the end of this install I tell you these didn't work, then don't get flat, get tapered. But these are the only ones that Vance and Hines has that I was able to find. So I just went ahead and get those. Because this bike is clapped out and it is 8 years old, and paint is, spray paint is everywhere and stuff, and it's just, some guy really had his fun with this bike. I went ahead and bought a new flange kit, just run-of-the-mill Drag Specialties. It's got the actual, the actual flanges, and then I don't know what to call them, the little metal pieces on the inside. So when we take this old exhaust off, we won't even have to take these off of it. It's just all gonna go in the trash together. But if you are reusing your flanges and everything like that, just go ahead and take those off. But this install will be even easider. The other thing I did was go ahead and go to my Ace Hardware and get some, hopefully you can see this, some new flange bolts, the header flange bolts. Now the old ones are all rusted to hell. I know you can kind of, I'm gonna spray some WD-40 around it and clean it up real good to begin with, like the bolts. But I got some new nuts. Did I say bolts in the beginning? Yeah, I bought new nuts. I bought new flange nuts, flange bolt nuts. Anyway, yeah, bought those new ones. So let's go over to the bike and take this old piece of crap off.
Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me f***ed up, let me show you older, you choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.
All right, so the install is done. You heard the comparison, the old versus the new. Definitely sounds a lot better, a lot deeper, a lot meaner. And keep in mind that's also without a good tune for it. Like I said, I doubt that was tuned at all. And I will be working on a tune just depending on what I decide to do in the long run with this bike. So Super easy. Then I would definitely make sure you get gaskets. So as far as the flat gaskets that I got from Vance & Hines, I would not recommend them with this exhaust install. I don't know whether or not Vance & Hines does recommend them or not. This one, the way the header is shaped, I would just 100% would say that the tapered would be an easier fit and easier to mount it. It was a kind of a heck of a time getting it in with that. The other thing I will say, I had to shave a little bit of the welds that they had from the spring clamps inside the collector, the merge tube. Had to shave a little bit because it was keeping the pipe from fitting, the header pipes from fitting all the way in and keeping me from being able to mount it correctly where it needed to go. Definitely make sure you use a lot of well, not a lot, but make sure you use anti-seize on all bolts relating to the bolts and nuts relating to the exhaust, because the stuff just heats up and it'll essentially weld itself, you know, pretty much. Yeah, the other thing, make sure that I didn't include in the video because I forgot to tape it, but make sure that you clean off all fingerprints with alcohol or a similar like glass cleaner like Windex, or, you know, just a regular automotive glass cleaner or home cleaner. It's going to get all the fingerprints and oils and dirt off of your exhaust. If you don't, it's going to burn all of those, you know, fingerprints and smudgy, you know, imperfections into the exhaust once it heats up. And it only takes a few seconds because your engine basically makes little explosions and it gets hot really fast. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it very much. Let me know what you thought of this exhaust. Let me know what you have for your own exhaust, any of that. If you want to have a more in-depth conversation with me or questions, Instagram is the easiest way to do that. I have a TikTok, but I don't really use it. So Instagram and YouTube are the two best ways to communicate with me. And until the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun. Dad.